Today's film features a man telling his story. I'm caught between life and death. Either I die with a pure soul, or I sell my soul and die in humiliation. And then I'll be burned. At first I'll scream, then I'll cry, and finally, after being roasted in the sun for 300 days, I'll just sit and watch. For example, I see the sand moving on its own, and I see how this creature studies me, but I'm not afraid, and I don't have the energy to deal with what's happening. I just want to get out once and understand what all this is about. I used to be the king, but now I'm in exile. I saw everything as it passed by me, merchants and thieves, people who wouldn't have dared even look at me, but who would never have made me happy. But, thankfully, they would stop and vent their anger, then march on towards the city I once ruled, carrying out my traitorous brother's orders. If he had wanted to kill me, he would have done it with a sword. That would have been a gift from him, truly. But no, he left me alive here because he knows that memories hurt more than chains. And even when I close my eyes, I can hear them. But it's not me screaming, it's my wife and children. Unfortunately, he decided against a quick end, but did something far worse. He covered the throne with evidence of the massacre he committed, forced me to sit upon it, and wanted me to count the burden of death on my back before he took me to hell. If I'm still here after 300 days, it's not because I'm lucky, but because he wants to humiliate me and see me with his own eyes. In short, he will never let me die. Every day at noon, he sends one of the guards with a plate containing very little food.
I know that if I die, the pleasure I feel will end. But yesterday the routine changed. The guard didn't come to pour dirty water on me like usual. He came with his team, the worst warriors in the kingdom, and my brother didn't get off his horse. He was looking at me with half his face covered in silk, treating me from a distance as if I were a sick person he'd infect. Then suddenly he asked me, "Are you still breathing?" But his voice held no mercy. He wasn't asking to check on me. He was mocking me. I tried to spit at him, but my mouth was so dry only dust came out. He came closer so I could see the hatred in his eyes and said, "Father favored you over me. He made you everything and put you on the throne. Remember? The throne, the power, the glory. As for me, you treated me like a stray dog." Then he stops and points towards the desert, saying, "Look where your glory has reached now. I have the kingdom, and you have nothing but dust." He signals to his guards to leave, but then he stops, turns around, looks one last time and smiles, a smile that freezes the blood. He says to me, "Yes, that's right. I had a purpose with your eldest daughter." Of course, the moment I hear this, my heart stops. I thought he had killed her along with the others, but he calmly tells me, "We didn't kill her, actually. She's very valuable and we couldn't afford to lose her." He continues, "She cooks and serves me and my men wine until she collapses from exhaustion. This way she'll learn that in my world she's just a servant. But maybe I'll bring her to you one day so you can see her father one last time." And at night, when the sun sets, something inside me breaks forever, and I look up at the sky, but I can't scream.
Look, there's no hope left. They're the ones who allowed this, who allowed my daughter to suffer. But I can't bear it anymore, so I scream. I scream so loudly with all my anguish, offering my life to anything that can give me the strength to kill them all. The ground responds. The wind suddenly stops, and my legs feel the change. Suddenly, the sand shifts, and something heavy is sliding across it. I freeze, feeling paralyzed. Whoever is with me isn't human. It's something studying me, taking its time, calculating the weight of the old gaze fixed on my back, measuring my stature and flesh. Then a black shadow emerges from the sand, its fins digging into my legs like claws. My body reacts before I can react, and then my whole body burns. Something is coursing through my veins. The poison takes 3 minutes to reach my heart. She tells me this in a very harsh voice, and I see the sand, and it's coming out of her mouth. This is the time. It's supposed to decide what the rest of your life will look like. And when my last breath comes out, you'll either be with me, or you'll be nothing but a corpse. So I ask her, why? The words come out of my mouth with difficulty amidst the pain I feel. I ask her, why now? Where are my guards? She laughs and says, guards? Oh, the kindness of humans. Don't be naive. There are no guards here. There's only one thing in front of you right now that can save you. Then she gets closer and says, this universe would collapse if there were any guards at all. Look closely. And she points to a bee in the sky and says, look at the stars and look at death. This creation is dazzling and perfect, a flawless mechanism. So I scream, telling her, you must be a sadist. And at that moment, I feel like
Blood still tastes like copper. Those who follow you are surely enjoying themselves. They watch the evil reign and shape the world to their liking. So she replies, you see brutality and cruelty because you look through human eyes, but reality isn't what you think. What you call pain is actually called balance. She gets closer until her breath pierces my ears and says, your guards were just a filter. They wanted you to be pure and remain bound to this pillar to achieve balance. Then her face changes, and the pupils in her eyes also change shape and widen, covering the faint light that was there. Suddenly, darkness appears on her face, and she says, but I want you as you are, so you can win. You were just a ruler and a pure soul, and that's why I couldn't touch you. Your faith was your shield, but after you collapsed today, you were able to open the door at last. Time is passing, Uncle Ruler. You and the sand are running, and your brother no longer plays by human rules. My chest calms down a little, and she continues, telling me he's already made his pact. This pact wasn't with one woman like it was with this nameless one. Then she makes the sand sink even lower, and there are only seconds left. She says, if you die here, as a man of value, you'll remain a servant to the monsters forever. At that moment, my body is no longer under my control, and my eyes begin to close. I thought I was going to die, and he would laugh and rejoice when he saw my body and hurt my daughter even more. This thought kills me more than the poison. So I move forward, grab the woman's hand, and stop the sand before it falls. I say to her, but if
my soul will guarantee that I can kill you. And I look into her eyes and say, I don't want any of that nonsense. In short, I don't care if I live or not. I just want to save my daughter and take revenge on my brother. Do you have that power, or are you useless like my guards? She smiles, spits out her hands, and saves the last few grains of sand, saying, my strength won't just kill him, it'll make him wish for death. Above dawn, the guard arrives to continue his routine and place the daily stale water for breakfast. But when he reaches the pillar, the water suddenly pours out, leaving a heavy silence. He looks around and runs as if the devil himself is chasing him. In the next scene, in the square, my brother is busy, sitting in his chair eating jujubes. Below him, his men are cleaning the town of traders, and he's watching, thoroughly enjoying the spectacle. Then the guard arrives, his face pale, as if his soul has left his body. He kneels, trembling, and speaks in a low voice, sweat dripping down his forehead. He tells him, your brother has disappeared, and the pillar is empty. The smile on my brother's face vanishes. He doesn't ask any questions, but he is terrified. He looks around and then strikes the guard with the sword. He's with him, killing him, and telling his men to get the horse ready. When he reaches the post, he looks at the broken chain on the ground and finds it's not cut, but rather has exploded. He sits on the ground, trembling, his hands covered in dust. He brings the dust close to his hand, smells it, and finds its scent mixed with the smell of snakes. He looks ahead, and fear is evident in his eyes for the first time. He understands exactly what happened. Any man can break a lock, but no man can break metal chains with his bare hands. But he understands that this isn't an escape attempt, and all this while
He looks around me and searches for answers, but the desert around me is completely silent. The truth is that reality did not end with an event. It ended with a very terrible silence. I am asleep, taking a deep breath, expecting to feel sulfur, heat, and mold, but the air is cold and tastes sweet. When I open my eyes, I prepare to face the demons, but what I see makes me feel more paralyzed than poison. Around me is light, not the fire of hell, but a pure blue light that illuminates. I do not see any dirty rocks, but all I see is white crystal, and the waterfalls are water and glow like stars. At that moment, I feel like I am in the paradise I used to dream of if I were a good person. But, by the way, I am not good. I just sold my soul now. So I touch my chest, and my heart is beating, and the toothache has disappeared from my body. Then I look at her and find her in front of me, and she is touching me, and she looks beautiful. Yes, but she is standing at the same time under the light. So I ask her, "What is this? Are you trying to kill me or what?" Of course, this is the ultimate hallucination. She laughs loudly, the sound echoing through the place, and says, "Oh, you poor thing. This is the truth hidden beneath the mirage-filled desert." She moves closer and points to the edge of the picture, saying, "This is my home. We passed the White Castle, but this place isn't peaceful. It's more like a shack." Suddenly, I see hundreds of women transformed into snakes, all standing up. I feel their eyes fixed on the back of my neck, and some of them get so close I can feel their hunger. I ask her, "Are these your army, or are they the ones who will execute me?" They all stare at me as if I'm the main dish they'll have for lunch today. She replies, "To them, you're just a tender piece of meat," and pushes one of them to my side.
Why did you release the pages? You couldn't have sent any one of them. Why did you risk your life for someone like me, bound in chains? She replies, "Because the servant seeks a leader, but the queen seeks a king. If either of them had found you, they would have devoured you or enslaved you. But I need a challenge like myself, someone with immense hatred who can withstand my poison without dying. I'm not looking for submission, you defeated king. I'm looking for an ally." Then she goes to your wall and pulls out something wrapped in black silk, offering it to me. I say in a low voice, "You want an ally for a coming war." I feel cold, but not the cold of the wind. I feel empty inside. She replies, "I removed your humanity to give you strength instead, and you will need this strength. Your brother made a pact with one whose name we cannot utter." I ask, "Who is this one whose name we cannot utter? Is it the devil you are sealing away?" But she answers, "No, it's something greater, a void that eats away. The light is there, and you remove the pin from this thing, and it turns out to be a black dagger made of crystal. It reflects the light around it. The iron of humans would break against their skin, but this one won't. You give it to him and tell him to take it, but not to use it against the soldiers. Keep it until you kill the enemy with it, and plunge it into his heart." So I take the dagger and touch it, and my hands become firmer than before. Then I lick it, and before me is a black void, and it tells me, "Now you are far away." Armed, he knew the truth, and the time had come to awaken his army. Meanwhile, my brother, the traitor, didn't return to the palace. Instead, he moved towards his leader, taking his army and marching towards the forbidden lands. These lands are filled with black rocks where the sun never rises. He alone has permission to enter. His team is forbidden. He enters the cave without looking back, and darkness descends upon his men, wiping them out one by one. Inside, there's no air, only a thick fog, whose stench is like a freshly opened grave. He kneels on the black ice beneath him and says, "You killed me, Rain. No one can touch it." For the first time his voice trembles as he continues, "The pillar is empty. What exactly took it?" Smoke spreads everywhere, but he stands before it, a massive, terrifying figure, with no face, only horns, breathing a breath that freezes the blood. Then he speaks in a voice like a bone about to break, telling them he didn't take it. No, it went down below, and the cave is shaking. He says, "Your brother is right. The queen of the serpents is down there,
but that cursed priest certainly didn't come to appear on the surface to negotiate with him. He continues, saying, "She offered him the hut and the legendary stone beneath the echo, and thousands of warriors that don't bleed him or eat him. Nothing stops him with a sledgehammer, and if they attack you, your kingdom will turn to dust before dawn." In the next scene, my brother is crawling on the frozen ground, feeling hopeless, and he's shouting, "My men can't kill the stone." He completely loses his mind and says, "Help me, I've given you everything. Just give me one thing I can use to stop them." The imagination expands, and the cave becomes tedious.
He's so cold, no one can stand him. He says, "I'll open my cauldron and unleash the power of the void and blind monsters that prick at the fear. They'll make my army treat you like a groom in Egypt, surrounded by children." Then the officers gather around his brother and completely hide him. He tells him, "But this savage talk won't guarantee you victory. Come any closer, I have final orders for you. Something that will ensure that even if you win the battle, you'll lose the war." All this while, I'm still in the cave of the Serpent Queen. Suddenly, I leap into the blue void in front of me. But as soon as I pass the fog, the cold disappears for a moment, and I descend into a world that is all dry and all dead. The air is incredibly heavy, and its smell is like the dust that has risen from dead graves. I stand watching them, and then I realize I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by ancient stone corpses and endless rows of giants who have been waiting for centuries to receive orders to kill. So I walk to the end, and there I find the general, who is actually 3. A meter of stones stands atop a throne of rocks, and he holds a sword in his hands, his gaze full of mystery. I remember her warning when she told me his mother wouldn't listen, and if my hatred wasn't enough, his mother would kill me. So I don't hesitate. I raise my hand covered in dried blood and place it on his chest. But the pain I feel then is unbearable. I feel the weight of thousands of forgotten wars trying to penetrate my mind, trying to influence me. But I don't show any fear. I just show them the memories, the scene of my brother laughing secretly, the image of Sahara offering coal and wine to his pigs, and the throne made of the hero's skin. Evil strikes, and suddenly I find the stone warm beneath my hand. This means the general hasn't rejected me. On the contrary, he has fed on my anger. The stone begins to crack, breaking the silence. The giant general immediately rises, kneeling on the ground before me, bowing his head and offering his support. I feel the heavy burden rising onto my arm, the stone beginning to cover my body, concealing my diminished strength. It wraps around my chest, forming a stone shield. Now I wear the warrior's armor. I look at my army and see them waiting for my signal. I tell them, "Rise, we have a kingdom to burn." At that moment, their eyes turn yellow and flicker in the darkness. In the next scene, I emerge from the darkness and find the Queen of Serpents standing there, waiting for me. She doesn't say anything when she sees my new skin, but smiles gently. Then she says, "The one who fell down was a broken man, but the one who has come out now is a warrior." "Brave," I tell her. "I'm not a warrior. I'm a killer going to deliver justice." When I turn to leave, she stops me and places her cold hands on my stone chest. Her smile vanishes, and she says, "Don't be so confident. Your brother is like a wet blanket. He'll use tricks and schemes against you and will betray those you love." I reply, "If Hara touches me, I'll bring the whole world down on me." She retorts, "That's the danger you need to fear. Remember your shield well. If you let your heart soften, your stone will shatter, and the ground will tremble before the city walls." My brother is standing waiting from afar. I no longer have the appetite to eat jujubes. He grinds his teeth so hard that his tongue starts to bleed. He knows exactly what he has stepped into, and a 1,000-meter-high sand dune appears.
It moves towards the city at a speed of 1,000 meters, obscuring the sunlight and turning morning into night. We don't move alone. The storm is like our world, and then the army begins to emerge from the smoke, thousands strong and countless, all moving across the desert. The soldiers and the dust storms scorch the sky. Then I emerge from behind this cloud of dust.
But I am not an exiled king. I am the commander of this army that will begin the end of the world. In front of the images, there is a herd of monsters standing and sulking. The moment I see them, I immediately understand that they are monsters whose name cannot be mentioned. These monsters are like plagues and acid, creatures with shields and tentacles flying in the air. A poison that can melt iron drips from their mouths, and they are consumed by hunger. Then the battle begins, and it's even more brutal because it's a killing field. These monsters can't withstand the stones, and my warriors move relentlessly, destroying the monsters and crushing their bones underfoot. My brother's army is reduced to a carpet of corpses in seconds, and he watches from above, paralyzed and unable to act out of fear. When the last monster falls, the 10-meter-tall general moves forward, strikes the walls, and destroys them. The entire city is defeated by the blow. So I tell him, "Open the gates, brother, and give me my daughter, so I can have mercy on you." And indeed, the gates open. My brother is standing on the battlefield, and he has no weapons. He throws his sword, and then we see Sihara standing next to him, trembling. Of course, as soon as she sees me, she runs to me and hugs me. I look at my brother, and I know he thinks he has won, so I tell him, "You have done your part, and now I will do mine. Grab him and take him to the dungeon."
But then my brother pulls out a small dagger and tells me to stay put. "You don't seem to understand the nature of our relationship. You can't imprison me. You can't even touch me." Then he cuts his wrists in a certain way. At that moment, Sahara screams in my arm and grabs hers. I pull her away and see the wound on her hand, and it's bleeding. I ask him, "What did you do to my daughter?" At that moment, the tent responds, saying things we can't name, linking our lives. If I'm imprisoned, she'll tremble. If the chains tighten around me, her skin will be cut. If the 60 years rot in the darkness, she'll never know joy in her life. Then he comes closer, laughing, and says, "No, brother, I won't be locked in this cell. Time will tell. I'm leaving, and she'll come with me." He grabs Sahara's arm and says, "Make your monsters back down. If I see even one stone." She's the one who will pay the price if she moves. If she tries to follow me, the damage will be permanent. If she tries any heroic act, my end will affect her, and it will be her end too. So I pound the ground, feeling helpless, and I yell at the soldiers standing to the side, making a passage for my traitorous brother so he can slip through the army. I have to see him and take her away, walking with her. I have to watch them as they walk among the warriors, blood protecting them. Sahara looks at me one last time, before she disappears into the desert, her eyes pleading with me not to do anything and to let her walk. Then the gate closes behind them, and I close one in the city I just conquered, which to me is just an empty city with a throne that has no use. There are only the dregs of my traitorous brother's guards, and of course, I have no mercy left. I send my men to kill them. At that moment, the Queen of the Serpents emerges.
She appeared to me from among the city's inhabitants and said, "I told you, Your Majesty, that he would exploit those you love, and I would bring you to your knees without him even drawing his sword." I replied, "Be quiet for a moment," and leaned towards her, dagger in hand, saying, "Tell me how to break it. Tell me how to break the bond between them without killing her." The Queen of Serpents approached and looked to the left, towards the place they had fled to, and said, "Unfortunately, we cannot do this here. The magic they used is ancient magic, and as long as your brother has the protective amulet, it will be his shield." Then she turned to me, her eyes filled with new hope, and said, "If you want to save her, we need to go to the place where this pact was made. We need to go to the Forbidden Lands. We are not going to conquer a kingdom, Your Majesty. We are going to kill this dark entity." I replied, "I don't care. Let him live. Let him rule the dark side. I don't care about anything else. All that matters to me is my daughter. She's the only love I have left in this dark world, and no hell can ever hide her from me, no matter what." And that's the end of your story for today. Stay tuned for new videos and summaries. Goodbye.